Hi you guys, it's a couple hours later and I realized that I forgot to film an intro for this video, so it's about like 2:30, maybe 3 a.m. right now. I'm really not 100% positive. But basically, I am going to start this vlog series of what it's really like to be in college. So I'm currently a freshman in college, and I'm just going to tell all you guys straight up what it's like and how it can really be sucky and how it is a little scary. So let's get into this week's video. So Wednesday of this week, I had orientation, and I had to be at my college at 8 o'clock. Okay, I am commuting to my college. I'm going to a JC where I really don't know anybody. There's two people from my school going. There's one girl and one boy. And I never really talked to the boy in high school, and the other girl, we've always been friends, but we really don't see each other on campus very often, okay? So this is not my school's like district college, if that makes sense. My district is another college that's like the complete other direction of the one that I go to. Of issues. Anyway, so I'm gonna get into it. Orientation, I felt so intimidated. And I know that's not what you guys want to hear because like that's silly and stuff. I went into orientation and I remember walking into this big room full of people sitting in the auditorium and not knowing where to sit. I just felt so embarrassed and so vulnerable, even though literally nobody around me cared. I was so scared. You know, I was so worried I didn't have on the right clothes, or I felt stupid because I was carrying a backpack, or like I had a water bottle, like just little things that I was so concerned with. And it really freaked me out, you know. I went into orientation, I brought like a notebook and stuff because I didn't know what I was gonna need. I didn't end up needing it, so I look kind of dumb. But I ended up going, they ended up separating all of us into like small groups to tour the campus, and I ended up in a group of people that I obviously didn't know because I literally know 2 out of like 200 students. So that ratio is not very high, you know. And that's just freshmen, not like the sophomores at the JC. So we're walking around, you know, and I started making friends with these 2 guys in my group, and that was really awesome. You know, you just have to open up and you have to start making friends. Even though I felt really, really uncomfortable at first, you just have to take that first step and it will get better, I promise you that. Okay, so that was kind of Wednesday, and I remember leaving and just feeling like I felt kind of defeated. I felt like I didn't really make a good impression, and I didn't know if the people who were being like I was making friends with or were being nice to me genuinely like that. So, alright, so Thursday was my first day of class, actual class, and I only had 2 classes. At 9:30 I had a psychology class until 10:45, and then at 11 I had an at 12 I had an algebra class. So my psychology class was packed full, and I walked in the door and I sat in the corner in the desk by myself, and I was so scared to just go sit next to someone because I didn't want to be that person and people be like, oh, like, why are you sitting next to me? I was genuinely concerned. I was genuinely worried. I remember being in psychology. The teacher was awesome, you know. We just went around the room, introduced ourselves to everyone, just because psychology is going to be kind of like an open discussion, so he wants everybody to become comfortable with speaking. And I just was so scared, you know. And I left psychology just feeling like I had no friends, you know, I had nobody to talk to. And I still had an hour until my next class, like an hour and 15 minutes ideally, because it got over at 10:45. I didn't have algebra till 12. So I was like, I don't even know where to go. Our student lounge isn't finished yet. So I went over to our cafeteria or whatever. I ended up running into one of the guys that I met yesterday, and as I walked in the door, he was like moving stuff off his table so I could sit down next to him or like with him as with his group of people. So that was super awesome, you know. Just you have to take the initiative and make friends. And I was like, oh dude, can I sit here? And he's like, yeah, of course. Like I knew that that's what he was doing. And that was just so awesome because it made me feel so much more comfortable. I ended up sitting with them until it was time for me to go to my next class. And then I went in algebra, and I just approached some people, finally, like, trying to get in the flow of it, and I was just like, can I sit next to you guys? And the people that I ended up sitting next to are really cool, and they're really fun and funny, and I just had to, like, take that little step. But I was still so worried that I wasn't making any friends. And I remember going home, because I only had 2 classes that day, and talking to my mom and dad and just bawling. I just started crying unconditionally because I was so scared of not having friends, you know. I know it sounds silly and people say to, like, love yourself and stuff, but I'm such a social person, and I love making friends, and I love talking to people, and I like to just have so many people to talk to. It's just the environment I've always been in, living in a small town, you know. I've been so involved. I've always had things to do, and it just really hurt to not have stuff like that going on in my life. And I just remember bawling and being like, I'm not gonna make any friends. People aren't gonna like me. People are gonna think I'm not pretty enough to be friends with them. People are gonna think I'm weird. People are gonna think I'm annoying, you know. And I was just really down, and I'm not gonna lie about that. I cried. But then, you know, Friday came along, so, which would have been yesterday, and I had a class at 9 a.m. and that was my Illinois history class. And this day was kind of unconventional. So I had that class at 9, and I walked in, and the teacher was really nice, you know. I just kind of chilled for a little bit, and at the end of class, she had said that we were supposed to read a chapter, and I still haven't gotten my, like, financial aid and stuff, so I needed my book voucher to get my books, so I didn't have my book yet, and I was talking to her about that. And I was talking to her how, like, I want to get into music and the musicals and stuff, so she asked me if I was going to audition for the show that they're doing. And I was like, yeah, of course. I think the biggest thing that is, like, weighing on me is that I also want to do cheer, because they're having cheer tryouts, and it's not that hard to get on the cheer squad out here. And I really want to do it to make friends, but I was so worried that I wasn't going to make it. And I ended up walking down the hallway with this teacher, and she, like, approaches these 2 girls and is like, hey, Leslie wants to try out for cheer. So they kind of introduced me to her, and then they started talking about Student Senate, and I realized that one of my friends that I have, so I had a friend that went to LTC last year and is actually still going, and he was with them in that class, like in Student Senate or whatever, and I want to do Student Senate, so, like, we kind of connected over that, and we talked about cheer, and they're like, please, please, please try out. We want girls with experience. It'd be awesome to have somebody who actually knows what they're doing. And I was like, I get it, you know. I've cheered my past 3 years of high school, and it was just like, oh man, like, okay, I'm kind of making friends. And then I ended up having another class after that, and I ended up having music appreciation, and I actually ended up sitting next to one of the girls that I was just introduced to, and she was like a year above me, but, like, doesn't really matter. And I had a music appreciation, which was awesome, you know. We just sat, but actually we got an email saying that school was released because our school went under a boil order, but classes were to resume at 1. So I had from like 10:20 till 1 o'clock to just do whatever. So that was interesting, you know. I sat and watched videos on my phone. I went to the computer lab, did some math homework, went out to eat, came back, sat. Then I had beginning, like, music theory, and I met a guy in there because there's only 2 of us, and him and I really hit it off, and we started making friends, and I was like, maybe this isn't as hard as it seems, you know. I couldn't really tell if he, like, genuinely thought I was, like, a cool person, or if he was just like, I gotta put up with this girl all year, it's whatever, you know. But I started becoming more comfortable with just introducing myself to people, and I think that, like, helps break that wall. And then I had choir right after that, so I'm in, like, the advanced choir over there, and there was, like, 8 other kids in there with us, and it was just so, it was intimidating because I expected to come in and be so far behind everyone, and I wasn't. I genuinely was very far ahead, and I don't mean that in a boastful way. It was just an eye-opening experience because my music teacher was always so mean in high school, you know. I wouldn't necessarily say mean, but she wasn't encouraging to me at all. I didn't have the type of sound that she likes, you know. Her and I's voices are very, very different, and I don't think she knows how to appreciate somebody else's voice, which is okay, you know. I feel like a lot of people fall under that. But I ended up meeting like other people in choir, and it just slowly, you know, I was like, I don't know if I'm really friends with these people, but at least like they're slowly like accepting me and like kind of just seeing me for me. And I feel like they were like kind of admiring like my singing capability, which helped me to like build that, you know. And then it was time for me to go home after that, and I just remember driving home and being like, I know what, you know what, I'm gonna try out for cheer, I'm gonna make friends, I'm gonna audition for the musical, you know, I'm gonna see what I get in that, I'm gonna make friends in that. I was like, you know, I'm gonna get involved in student senate, I'm gonna do that, I'm already involved in trio, so I'm gonna do that, you know, just so many things. And I just keep thinking like, I want to get involved, I want to get involved, I want to get involved. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. I've had crazy anxiety, I haven't been able to sleep very well, just because I'm so like antsy about everything, because it is scary. But I'm genuinely very excited for what this year has to bring. So that's how genuinely my first three days of college at a JC went. And I'm just going to kind of keep this up because I think it's important to let people know what it's really like. I don't want to sugarcoat it. I'll actually be putting up a video on what you actually really need for class, because I definitely overshot a lot of supplies that I really don't need. Hi, yes, I'm back. I forgot to film an outro that kind of made a little bit of sense. So first off, I just want to say thank you for watching the video. I know it's not the greatest camera quality, and I know that it was just a really chillax video, but I just want to walk you guys through what it's really like to be a college student, because I know I've been freaking out and I just wish there was something I could watch. So I'm going to be here, I'm going to try and be your guide, and I'm going to be very involved this year, so it's going to get crazy. And this is more of a vlog status, you know, but I'll be putting up more content, more videos with a bunch of different topics. I also have a ton of story times headed your way. So give this a thumbs up, like, subscribe. Thank you guys. Bye.